Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show that people believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen under God blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen under God blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Belize, wake up Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show of people. Believe our hopes, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that must be happen under God blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Another day is here. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, WB. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Another day is here. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show my people. Believe our hopes, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that must be happen under God blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Another day is here. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up Belize, wake up Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show of people. Belize our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody.
All right, welcome. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize, Morning Vibes. It's a Thursday morning, the last Thursday in July. This is the 30th day of July, 2026. I'm Nuri Mohammed, and we welcome you to the program this morning. As you know, we go through certain steps before we get to the main course. We do have guests coming in today. I think we have 2 guests coming in today. But we'll start off with opening up the phone lines, giving you a chance to weigh in on any area that you may feel. We first get a look at the weather. We have Miss Catherine Kamabach as our forecaster this morning, and then you'll bring you to send the package prepared by the news center, and then we'll get into the main course. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Belize. A moderate and relatively moist easterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast, the Belize and her coastal waters, calls for sunny skies today with a few cloudy spells, and high temperatures are expected to reach 89 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 94 inland, and 82 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy, with low temperatures of 82 along coast, to 74 inland and 68 in the higher elevation. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated. The wind will blow from the east at 10 to 20 knots and the sea state will be choppy. A high tide will occur at 10:09 a.m., a low at 5:23 this evening, another high at 11:18 tonight, and a low at 4:44 a.m. The sun rose at 5:20 and will set at 6:26. The moon set at 19:06 this morning and will rise at 7:23 tonight. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times, along with a few morning showers or isolated thunderstorms developing mainly along the coast and over southern areas, then gradually decreasing by afternoon. In the sargassum forecast, there is a high chance that more sargassum mats could impact beaches, especially over the northern half of the country during the next few days. And in the tropical weather outlook, no tropical cyclone formation is expected over or near Belize and her coastal waters during the next 48 hours. And with that, we conclude your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
The factual background in the case of the $4.3 million in business tax assessed by the Belize Tax Service against the 2 Brad companies for the handling of government lotteries revealed some notable details. Brad Gaming Company Limited, the BGCL, held the exclusive license for government lotteries from 2010 to March of 2020. In April of 2020, the company ceased operations after its contract ended. In an affidavit, one of the principals, Kim Woo Chi, stated that BGCL no longer had a bank account and that the company was deemed struck off the company's register since they did not re-register. Shortly after, news emerged of a second company with a nearly identical name, Brad's Gaming Group Limited, BGGL, receiving the subsequent contract to manage government lotteries until July of 2020. That contract was terminated on May of 2023 when government lotteries were nationalized. Court documents cite that an affidavit from King Wo Chi indicated that BGGL did have a bank account at Atlantic Bank with a balance of around $50,000 that has remained untouched since the contract ended. Why one company closed and another was created, both involving the same principal, is still unclear. The tax case, the claimants argued that the companies were, non-functional and therefore ceased to be taxpayers. However, Belizean law requires businesses to maintain financial records for 6 years. For some observers, the creation of a second company may raise questions. However, an online search shows that it is not unusual for the same principals to form new companies, including for concession contracts. Common reasons include liability protection, separating old debts from new operations, or starting a clean registry slate if the previous operator faced compliance and audit issues. Senior Counsel Magali Marin Young represented the Belize Tax Services in this case. We asked her about the two companies, but she noted that there is insufficient information to draw any conclusions.
From the facts and the instruction I had, it's a very interesting question. Why one closed and the other one opened? All right. And the first one was Brad's Gaming Company Limited, and they enjoyed an exclusive license for a period of time. And then they closed up. So I think they think that closing up mean, oh, we don't have to look back at liabilities. And then a new company was given another exclusive license of the same, almost identical nature like the former one. So I don't know why they were allowed to incorporate a new company. I think that may require some further investigation.
In a press release on Wednesday, Yanira Pop was listed as the acting chief forest officer. According to information on the Forest Department's website, Pot has served as a forest officer with responsibility for the department's national and international partnership program. In June this year, Pop was among 173 public officers recognized for completing 25 years in the public service. She was one of 6 Forest Department employees who received the Long Service Award. The Forest Department congratulated the officials for their, quote, unwavering commitment, professionalism, and dedication in service to Belize and the natural resources, and its natural resources, end of quote. It also added, quote, their contributions have helped strengthen the Forest Department and advance the sustainable management and conservation of the nation's forest, end of quote. Minister of the Public Service Henry Usher confirmed this week that the post of Chief Forest Officer will be advertised once more. Ruben Stoll has been charged and fined $1,000 following an investigation into the lawful handling and molestation of a wild jaguar cub within the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve. According to a press release issued by the Belize Forest Department, Stoll voluntarily returned to Belize and surrendered to authorities following the incident. He was subsequently charged under Chapter 220 of the Wildlife Protection Act, Revised Edition 2020, which explicitly prohibits the handling, molestation, and hunting of protected wildlife, including immature animals and female wildlife accompanying their young. The department emphasized that no individual is above the laws of Belize issuing a reminder to both residents and visitors that wild animals should never be treated as pets, photo ops, or tourist attractions. Authorities reiterated that wildlife should only be admired and photographed from a safe distance without physical interference and harassment. The video posted by Stoll online showed him cornering and petting a jaguar cub that went viral. In the comments, Stoll confessed to separating the cub from its mother using a vehicle. The post was later deleted. It is not known if the cub was able to reunite with its mother. Alexis Rosado, former ambassador and current co-agent for Belize in the ICJ case, was arraigned in the High Court in Belmopan on June 3, 2025, in relation to charges of rape, sexual assault, and aggravated assault, which was brought against him in April of 2022. The trial was scheduled to begin on Monday, July 27, but the matter was adjourned for a third time. His attorneys, Richard Dickey Bradley and Leroy Banner, submitted a medical certificate indicating that Rosado was unwell and unable to attend court. Rosado was charged with 1 count of rape, 1 count of sexual assault, and 6 counts of aggravated assault. In December 2021, the virtual complainant reported to police that the violations began when she was 13 years old and continued for several years. The case has been adjourned until October the 5th. Under Belize's criminal law, a rape conviction carries a prison sentence of not less than 8 years. News broke this week of a West Los Angeles immigration court in Los Angeles, United States, that had issued deportation orders to 2 Belarusian nationals and ordered them to be sent to Belize under a third safe country agreement with the U.S. However, the human rights organization By Action sounded the alarm shortly after, noting that there had been no confirmation of the deportation and questioning whether Belize would accept citizens from outside of the region. On Tuesday, Nikolai Zelaya, the director of Refugee Department in the Ministry of Immigration, was asked to comment on this situation. Zelaya said that under the agreement with the United States, Belize agreed only to accept deportees from Central America and the Caribbean region.
I cannot speak on what happens in a U.S. court. That is outside of my purview. However, I can say that under the Safe Third Country Agreement that we have with the government of the United States, we will periodically be receiving persons who the U.S. government sends here. These people have applied for asylum in the U.S., and under this agreement, they can now apply for asylum here in Belize. Keep in mind that it does not mean they are guaranteed refugee status. They can apply. One of the conditions of that agreement with the United States government is that we will only be accepting persons from the Central American and the Caribbean regions. Belarus is nowhere close to us, and they are definitely not going to be accepted. So if the U.S. government requests to send persons, that request goes through my department first, and we would not agree to something like that under the normal course of things.
And that is our news package for this morning, the 30th day of July 2026. There's another update at around 12 o'clock, right after the morning stew, and one at 3, and a full news broadcast at 5:15 on Creme Radio. Here on XTV, we bring you the entire news package at 6 o'clock this evening. It's now 1 minute to 7 o'clock. We'll take a very short break, come back, open the phone lines, and begin the conversation for this Thursday.
Informative, accurate, current information. Krem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helped supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
This is the general. They just coming again. Yeah, yeah. They just won. They just yo. Hey, take it low, 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 take it low. Then you wine right there, take your time right there. You do it fine right there. You blow my mind right there. Take it low, 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 take it low. Hey, babina hanuma, wabina punta ah. 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 Give me more.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize, Morning Vibes. It's a Thursday morning. Last Thursday in this month of July. Imagine that we're moving very fast. August 1st means that we have 4 more months in this year. And, people like to say, time to move fast. No, it's the same sun, same moon, same stars. It's just our perception of time seem to be moving faster. And that's a whole discussion in itself. Our number is 280-5848, 280-5848. I want to congratulate the organizers of the very successful third Diaspora Summit that ended last weekend. And it was outstanding to see the coming together of so many talented Belizeans at home and abroad to display ourselves. The level of technology and the discussions around IT and the future in terms of technology was very impressive. The conversation with the young leaders and the hope for tomorrow's leaders also very, very impressive. The discussion which I moderated on the Belizeans abroad being engaged in Belize while they're abroad, as well as their plans to come back home, was also very impressive. And the audience interaction was also very good. I want to congratulate Rajma, and I think I got your name, Rajma Etkurt. She is the daughter of the former DPP, Mr. Suknandan. We also had our own sister Arya Lightfoot, as well as Miss Pitts. Those 3 women worked together for over a year in putting and organizing the summit, and it was a great success. And we are looking forward to the next. It was a good decision to have the third one in Belize because we had the other 2 in Los Angeles and I believe in Florida. It's important to have those summits in the area where Belizeans reside, like the United States, but it is also important to bring it home. And I think it was a great success, and I congratulate those 3 women. Not that others were not involved in the background of the planning, but clearly those 3 women were the focal point, the organizing point, and they implemented what they had planned. So congratulations to Miss Rajma, Miss Arya, and Miss Verleen. I'd also like to congratulate, and I did this on my Facebook, Justice, we must say, Justice Smith, our brother, also Justice Dennis Barrow, our brother, and our sister, the Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett. 3 outstanding Belizeans who are playing a very important role in the Caribbean. Our brother, Justice Smith, has served in the Eastern Caribbean courts for quite some time. If you remember, he left Belize for probably over 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure of the exact time, but he served in their high court there and was outstanding. Wrote many very provocative judgments and has been asked by President Ali of Guyana if he would head this investigative commission that will look into this tragedy of the MI Burma, the Guyanese ferry where hundreds of people went down, and I believe 173, if I'm not mistaken, was lost in that tragedy. The captain and his crew, his main crew, were arrested and they are going to be charged with some very high crime if, in fact, the court decides. But they have been arrested for negligence and a few other charges that were brought against them. There's a lesson to be learned. We have never had that level of tragedy, not on our highways, not on our seas, but it doesn't mean that it's not something that can happen. For example, one of the things that were being questioned in this inquiry is the type of maintenance that the government of Guyana was doing with these ferries. I've seen these ferries. I've never been on one, but I was in that river area where these huge ferries travel back and forth. It's a regular means by which people traverse their job, their land, their various areas of need for using this transport. And you sort of take it for granted, just the way that we take for granted at the terminals, getting on buses and traveling, or the way we go to the various channels to take our own form of ferry. It's not ferry, these boats are not really ferry, but they're ferrying people. That's what they're doing. But these boats that go between San Pedro, Belize, Kikaka, Belize, Sartaneja, Belize, is very important that these be properly regulated, because if they are not, we may end up in a tragic situation similar to what is now the sadness in Guyana. And you know, when we're a small society like Guyana is, it's huge in terms of the geographical size, but it's a very small. Georgetown is a very homogeneous, well, I shouldn't say homogeneous, because they do have that divide between the Indian population and the black population, but nonetheless, the Guyanese people are very loving people, very close. And when a tragedy like that takes place, then somebody in your home or in your workplace or somebody that you know from across the street died in that tragedy. And so they are in a state of collective mourning for what has happened. And it's not something, from what I'm reading in their newspaper, that's easy to overcome. Each funeral becomes an event. Each funeral becomes another reason for continuing this collective mourning. And I think what is seeming, from reading their newspaper, what is affecting people more than anything else is those that still have not been found. And so it is something for us to think about. Belize, except for hurricanes, have never really been affected by a grand tragedy. And of course, we're very thankful for that. But when you understand that these things sometimes are taking place in ways that we would not expect. I mean, when people get on that ferry, they would not think that, why is this ferry going down? Even though people on the boat, on the ferry, were complaining that they're seeing water coming in, and but apparently maybe the captain of the boat or the captain of the ferry believed that, we gone through this already, the weather looked funny, but we can make this. And so with that confidence, he kept going. And then when it capsized, when it actually turned over, it was a scramble. And you can really get locked underwater with no way of getting out if you're locked in one of those rooms or one of those areas of the boat where you cannot get out, because the pressure of the water locks you in and you cannot push to get out because of that pressure. It's just a tragic situation, and our prayers are with our brothers and sisters in Guyana. And as the saying goes, but by the grace of God go I. we could be seeing something like that happening with a bus or two buses colliding with each other, both of them filled with massive tragic circumstances as a result of that. So we pray that that is not on our plate, but if it is, then we kind of get a feeling of what the people of Guyana are going through at this time. A few days ago, there was an event that took place in Belmopan that gave honor to the remembrance of Mr. Philip Golson. And let me give the number again, 280-5848, 280-5848. And there you saw the representatives of Nietzsche making a presentation on the life, the legacy, the contribution of Mr. Philip Golson to Belize and to the early politics of Belize. And as I remarked a couple of shows ago, that Mr. Golson, in my mind, is not given the kind of, I don't want to call it accolades, because it's more than that we're not giving to this man's, the significance of this man's contribution to our body politic. I am particularly aggrieved that the members of the People's United Party do as much as they do for Mr. George Price. He's even been given a day in January, the same day as Martin Luther King, January the 15th. And it's known as a service day because that's what Mr. Price was about, serving the people of Belize. But Mr. Golson is not given any such recognition, and I wonder why. Welcome, caller.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, brother Nuri.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir.
Good to hear you back, brother.
Thank God to be back, brother.
Alhamdulillah. Brother Nuri, first of all, I want to congratulate MIDH for the work being done between Belize City and Belmopan in terms of the upgrade of the road. A little suggestion, though. The stretch between Benke and the border, I was up there over the weekend. Matter of fact, I had a trip all the way up to Flores in Guatemala. And that stretch is paved nicely. They have it very thick with the asphalt. I'm suggesting, I'm not an engineer, but I'm suggesting if MIDH could use the same material that have been used between the border and San Ignacio, instead of using the chip, because normally what they would do when they pave it, they put down the hot mix, and then they have the chip where they would scatter over it, kind of like small rocks or small pebbles, and it doesn't last as long. So if they could use that same material, it would be roughly about 2 to 3 inches thick. I know it's going to cost a little bit more money, but it's going to last a longer time. And again, congratulations. I'm coming back closer to home, Brother Nuri, in terms of the reparation. Now, back in the day, Malcolm, our brother, Alhaj Malik al-Shabazz, he made mention that when the revolution was being taught on in Harlem Square in New York and 42nd Street and those places, you know, back there with the Panthers and the Black Liberation Army and even the Black Muslim movement, the old Christian preachers was still talking the Jesus thing, the turn the other cheek kind of thing. So Malcolm said, and this is paraphrasing what Malcolm said, the old preachers they jump into the march because they saw that there was little pickings in there for them. But initially, they was not in the march. They was not talking about the march on Washington and the march on Selma and those places there. They was content with singing, Jesus song and whatnot. And eventually, the enemy saw that, and they put them in the forefront of the march. But the march was supposed to be with the Black Panthers Party and the Black Liberation Army and the Black Muslim movement leading the charge. But that was too strong for them, for the powers that be. So they said, you know what, let us put Dr. King and others. But afterwards, when Dr. King sat with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and get the sense, brother, look, this ain't about no turn no other cheek thing, This is about revolution. This is about change. That's when he made that famous speech, he been up to the mountain and he saw what was over there, meaning that he had sat with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and he got the message what this whole struggle was about. Coming back to Marcus Garvey with the Black Star Line, Marcus bought some ships so he could do trading, real physical ships, so he could do trading between this continent and Africa. And he was going to pass through Limon in Costa Rica and Puerto Cortes in Honduras, Kingston, Jamaica, Belize City, Bridgetown, Barbados, etc., and do trading with us in Africa. And they saw that again was so powerful. So they got some of these same people that was close to the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and they conspired against Marcus for mail fraud, and we know the rest after that. Now, I said all of that, Brother Nuri, to say this. There have been a lot of us, including yourself, Evan X. Hyde, Brother Ishmael Omar Shabazz, Brother Justice, Edgar X. Richardson, Odinga Lumumba, Wawat Nepata, sister and singer Lilette Barclay, fighting this struggle. Sister Yaya now that came on the scene at a later date, fighting this struggle, putting our life out there on the line, taking all kind of insult and ridicule, and others to mention that maybe I never mentioned, but all of those pioneers that went on before us, and fighters that is still in this struggle. So I am disheartened to see that people would want to jump on the bandwagon when they know that little picking is around the corner and want to take the leadership now of this reparation movement. It is unfair because then we don't want no compromise. And I want to say this and I want to end off on this. And this is a parable. If somebody break into your house and they steal all of your valuables, your riches, and you take them to court, and when the judge asks you, what are you here for? You ain't going to tell them that you are here for no clothesline where they stole off for your out of your yard, or an old raggedy bicycle, or even to say your pet cat, which in those are part of your property too. But you are here for your riches, what makes the world runs. Therefore, you want your riches back, and then we could sit down and we could talk as equals. So, when some reparationists gonna talk about, well, we not getting no money, we are getting education, and we are getting food, and we are getting food stamp, and little pieces of wash-up clothes, and them thing no, we don't want that. We want our riches back that is in London and Rome and Washington and all over the world. We want those back in our bank accounts the same way the Japanese and the Jews got theirs, and then we could decide for ourselves what we want to do with our riches that was stolen away from Africa. That is what we want. Yes, we want the education. We want all of our books that the Vatican have. We want those back. We want all of that knowledge that was stolen away from us, whereby today it's very hard for a lot of our people to pinpoint whichever tribe or whatever in Africa we came from. All of that will be done. That will be researched. Yes, we want that. But we want our physical riches back, brother Nuri, because if you get on the plane to fly from here to Europe or from here to Africa, they ain't going to take no piece of paper, boy. I don't know, Muhammad, I represent this, that's your piece of paper. Yeah, no. They want you to pay for your ticket. You see me? So I am saying, I said all of that, brother Nuri. All of those people that is involved and is trying to get involved in our struggle of reparation and liberation, we welcome them. But we do not want them to come with no little preacher man mentality and think that black people simple nowadays and you are tech for we riches and then give we pittance or give we book leaf and think we are happy. No. We want our treasures back. So with the work you are doing, Brother Nuri, others, myself, we value it, and we want to say that we want to continue doing what we are doing. We need our prayers. And you didn't make mention, I think it was last week, that you was going to reveal those people that was in the forefront of the reparation movement. I don't know if here in Belize or throughout the region, you was going to make mention of those names. Ain't nothing to hide, Brother Nuri. We ain't got no nothing to hide, no shame in our game. We done survived 500 years of lynching. So whoever's representing us or whoever's out there, make it be known. Make it be known. We ain't no secret society to say, boy, this the thing, but we can't say that. Who know? The slavery and the lynching is worldwide. They don't know. We know what they did to us. So make it be known, those brothers and sisters that's in the forefront, whether it be lawyer, doctor, policeman, whoever, so we could know that who, is in the forefront of this struggle. Thanks, Brother Nuri.
All right.
If I don't know if you have anything to ask me before I get off or whatever.
No. Thank you for your contribution. I'll make a few comments, but thank you for your contribution, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, the reason why I asked, because I don't want you to ask a question and then I'm not on the air.
No, I don't have any questions directed at you. I have some comments based on what you said, but it's not directed at you.
Okay then, brother. No, thanks again, man, and I'll continue listening to you up there.
All right, very good. Yeah. Wa alaikum assalam. I don't need to overtalk you or disagree with you and get into a hang-around with you. I was going to say, and I am going to say, that I understand the analogy that you were making in regards to those who come after and try to jump in the line and act like they were there all along, and you used reference to preachers in the United States. But it's important to understand that there was a lot of dynamics, in fact, going on during that period of time, and we are not, I don't think, we're really getting some of the full picture of what was going during that time. You made mention of our brother, the respected and ever loved Dr. Martin Luther King, a man I had tremendous respect for. When you read his writings, tremendous respect. But he was made to be put in a situation where he looked as though he was an Uncle Tom, as compared to the revolutionaries of the Panthers, and you mentioned the Nation of Islam. But you have to understand that there was a dynamic issue going on at that time. Dr. Martin Luther King paid the price for leadership. He went to jail. He was beaten up. He was a man of great integrity. He led that march on Washington along with Jesse Jackson, along with Andrew Young, along with the Reverend Abernathy, These were all men in their own right. They were preachers, but they were not preachers that preached to you about thy kingdom come. But they were men who stood up for the main concern that was affecting their congregation. So the march on Washington, or the march in Selma, or the march that he was planning for the garbage collectors were all aimed at trying to serve the needs of black people. And they stood up not as like how we used to try to make them chicken-eating preachers that just go to the white man and the white man tell them what to do. No, that was an ideological argument that was going on, similar to the other side of that story, that the black Muslim movement was led by some crazy Elijah Muhammad that believed in hating all white people, and that black man is God and the white man is the devil. They did everything during that period of ideological struggle to create boogeymen on both sides. So those who listened were made to believe that Martin Luther King was an Uncle Tom, he was a sellout, he was a brung nose, and everybody also was given the opposite side, that Elijah Muhammad was a hate teacher, that he was a man who was just a philanderer, one who just wanted to bring all kind of young girls into his harem. All kinds of nasty, crazy, negative lies were told on both sides. But now that we go back in history with a clearer idea of what was going on and what were the hidden enemies behind, then we came to realize that, guess what? Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had a very excellent relationship. Their wives, Betty and I forgot his name of his wife, subhanallah, but they were very close. The two wives were close and the two brothers were close. But the way the enemy wanted it to look is that, are you on Malcolm's side or are you on Martin's side? When in the background, they were meeting with each other with a better understanding of each other. So the press, the media at that time, who were controlled by the executive orders of these big companies that benefit by keeping us fighting one another, made us think that Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and all of these, Andrew Young, these were all sellouts. These were brung nose. These were Uncle Toms. And on this side, you had these very radical elements that would not be a part of what Islam, or part of what is good for America. So I'll take that call after we finish the 2 cents can. But I wanted to make just that comment that many times when we are reviewing history, we're still living in those eras, and that is not what history is about. History is about what is going on now and how it was affected by then. So those stories and those narratives are many times narratives that were useful at that time and not useful now. So the feelings that I had about Martin Luther King being the Uncle Tom, I no longer have that now. At a much later age, I can look back and see the great, great contribution he made, and the great, great contribution that was also made by our brother Malcolm, and the great meeting between the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Martin Luther King did not necessarily mean that Martin Luther King was some flunky, and it's not until he spoke to Elijah Muhammad that he gained power and strength. That is not the right narrative. But that is what was given to us in that day and time. It's now 25 minutes now to 8 o'clock. We'll stop for 2 cents can with Brick. And as I said, we do have guests coming in today.
WUB, and this is XTV. Big respect to our sponsors. 4-point security and the carnival season is here. We're going to find out the people in 2 cents and some of the camp there. We're done active already. All right?
night long. Play the new, play the new, play the music big and strong. Cause I just love having fun. Run the gun, run the gun, run the country straight to town. Don't stop this jam. Cause you know I'm addicted. Na 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 na, live without it. Start me home by the pumping. All me know just a jumping. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Feeling right, rock me steady all night. If me mind, feeling right, rock me steady all night. I'm say, the only drugs that I guilty using. I'm say, a heavy dose of the music moving. Can't be far from me. It's a must for me. Wakes me up my slumber. Makes me do a number. It's we time again. To lose and we break. Find me
Every great job starts at Brothers Habet with the best supplies and the right support, including free delivery on site, so you can focus on the job. Brothers Habet, working with contractors since 1983.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
August 1st is also one day where UAF used for African reparations awareness and understanding that reparations, the root it means to repair, and the biggest repair we need to get done, the repair to for we self, mind, body, spirit. Now, this is not something where we just make up. There are international laws or documents or policies what guide people around the world who have sought reparations because of wrongs we get done today. So there is something called Basic Principles and Guidelines on the Right to a Remedy and Reparations for Victims of Gross Violations of International Human Rights Law and Serious Violations of International Humanitarian Law. It was adopted on 16 December 2005 by the General Assembly Resolution 60/147. Up to we to learn these things. I use it enough for we best interest because only organized people want to save the people. Community partners, of course, Zinc Fence, XTV, Creme Radio, Amandala, Belize City Council, the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, ISCR, the National Institute of Culture and History, Niche, Vegan Bites, Kim Grab and Go. Individual people who contributed to ensure that UEF have the finance and the community support for be able for host these community actions every August 1st.
We make it a kind donation to 14 rural communities from across Belize. They'll be receiving maintenance equipment, riding mowers, weed eaters. This will help these village councils and communities to be able to maintain their green spaces, the community grounds within their area or within their respective communities. And these equipment is to be used for the maintenance of parks, playgrounds, football fields, schools, community centers, cemeteries, all the community spaces within the respective rural communities. Simultaneously, we're donating tables and chairs to village councils as well, for them to be able to have access to proper furniture for whenever they hold community meetings or activities within their communities.
Today we received 30 chairs, and these are not just chairs. They are seats at the table for our elders, our clergy members, our children, for community meetings, our mobile clinic. At this moment, we don't have any chairs in the village for the community center, so whenever we have community meetings, we use a bleacher which is in direct sunlight. So these chairs will definitely help for our upcoming village council meetings and different events that the council have planned for the village.
We're receiving a riding mower, which is really, we need it. It's a equipment that we will be using a lot because the football field, example, we have a large area that we need to clean, the football field, the cemetery, and right now that would be a good equipment for us.
This donation really means a lot to us because every time we have function, we have to either rent or borrow, and so this is a great start for us here in Unitedville.
We believe in empowering our people. We believe in supporting you. I ask that especially for those who are going to get weed eaters and driving mowers, or any other mechanical equipment that you get, that you put in place some program where you can provide regular maintenance to this equipment. This is important because we want to ensure that there is longevity, that this equipment can serve you and other councils that are going to come after you.
And so we would like to thank the Ministry of Rural Development for listening and addressing the needs of our village for building a stronger, more connected village, one seat and one step at a time.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Catoos Trucking is the one place that can handle all your concrete mix needs. 50-pound sandbags, white sand, sand and gravel, river sand, black dirt, clay and landfill, washed white sand, concrete mix and limestone. We also do land clearing, road construction, and excavation. For all your building and home projects, visit us at mile 14 on the Philip Golson Highway. Call or WhatsApp at 673-1118, 671-9199, or 661-5863. We're open Mondays to Saturdays. Our prices are so good you can't get a better deal anywhere. Catoos Trucking, where we do things right.
When the power goes out, life is disrupted. Be prepared and keep your home powered up with a generator from Benquip. We carry brands such as Honda, Kohler, and JCB. Schedule your installation, maintenance, and assessment to keep your generator ready and waiting to protect your family and home the next time the power fails. Stay in control of your power with a generator from Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
Back to school tax-free days are here again. Saturday, August 15 and 29th. The Belize Tax Service is pleased to inform all consumers that general sales tax, GST, will once again be waived on eligible school supplies. In addition to the existing exempt zero-rated items, the government has approved the following school supplies to be GST-free for the designated period. The approved items are as follows: exempt zero-rated notebooks, textbooks and workbooks, school bags, pencils, crayons, lead pencils, erasers, and pencil case. Taxable items that are tax-free for the approved days: pens, uniform material, ready-made uniforms, binders and folders, highlighters, markers, pencil sharpeners, calculators, regular and scientific, scissors, folder pages, graph paper, typing sheets, rulers, Bristol board, correction fluid or whiteout, eligible footwear, black school shoes and black tennis shoes, tapes, brown paper book covers and craft paper, newsprint or shop paper, liquid soap, glue, geometry sets, lunch kits and boxes, socks, hand sanitizer and toilet paper. Remember, check your receipts after purchase. To ensure GST is not incorrectly applied, report any abuse or non-compliance by calling 613-2773, 613-8375, 614-5731, or 613-2840. For any further assistance or information, please visit or contact any Belize Tax Service office countrywide. Our team is ready to assist you.
You're up against some tough challenges, but not all heavy-duty lubricants can handle the pressure. Until now. Introducing Ridgeline Lubricants, a homegrown solution engineered right here to solve the hurdles you face every day. Backed by experts who understand the ups and downs of where you're operating and what's at stake. Specially formulated to protect your equipment so you can push past grueling hours, heavy loads, and harsh conditions to reach for greater productivity. Ridgeline Lubricants. Long live your equipment.
Welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We're not taking any phone calls until we have completed our conversation with Mr. Emerson Gill. Mr. Emerson Gill, as you know, is the point man when it comes to keeping alive the memory and the contribution of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And there are some events that are coming up, so I won't hold him back. He's been on this show so many times, so we won't try to unearth really what he's about. We already know what he's about. So we'll deal specifically with the events that are to take place. Welcome, brother.
Peace, my brother, peace.
Good.
Greetings, Belize. It's Garvey Month coming up right now, and we are preparing for our annual celebration, his day of his birth.
Okay.
And it's going to be the 139th year celebration. We will be sharing food, music, and reasoning with the public. I believe there will be some artists with paintings and artists with sculptures that will be decorating our yard for that day. I'm looking forward to that because the arts tell a lot of stories in its own right.
Indeed.
And the 230 UNIA division, which is the Belize identification, is comprised of the Black Cross nurses and the UNIA body, which is a small group, but nonetheless, we continue to stand firm.
Yes. The Black Cross nurses, are they in existence as a group today?
Oh, yes.
With a president and etc.?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have to say we because I'm a part of the we. We provide services for a group of shut-ins right now. The government provides a subvention to aid us in the services that we provide for those shut-ins. We have people who we are caring for, feeding daily, changing, some people have medical issues, and so we go there to facilitate some of those needs.
So who is the head of
the head of the Black Cross nurses is Miss Karen Taylor. She has 17 active volunteers.
Very good.
Volunteers, which I would say deserve to be paid because of the amount of work that they do, because they care for way more than they can or should be, but they have to do it because there's nobody else doing it.
And they go to like Sister Cecilia?
No, they go to private homes.
Oh, they go to
individual homes that have these needs.
I see.
We just celebrated, a month ago, we celebrated 30 Black Cross nurses, because we had lost one. She died. She had a stroke and eventually succumbed. And so we celebrated her, but in celebrating her, we realized that we need to thank the people that were active. So we did an award ceremony a month ago and provided some certificates. And I have to tell you, we have 6 young people below the age of 15 who are already volunteering and working with the Black Cross nurses, both young men and women.
You know, we were talking about this off air, that we seem to have placed more importance on recognizing Nurse C and Nurse Cleopatra White 30 or 40 years ago. That's the reason why the clinic was named Cleopatra White, much more so than we do today. It's as though we are trying to tell our young people about people who are so far back in our history, when 40 years ago it was a kind of a living history. We knew more about Isaiah Martyr. We knew more about the great contribution of, say, Cleopatra White, who, as you say, is going...
A playwright.
Yeah, she was going around, she and Nurse C were going around after the 1931 hurricane. They were the ones that were servicing people who in that devastation that
yes, very much
affected
so.
us at that time. So I'm saying that to say that we don't seem to acknowledge, especially for the sake of our young people, the great contribution of these two women. And we could go back and talk. We're not here to talk about that now, but there's so much of our history that is left unrecognized by this young group, this young population. In fact, after you, we do have somebody coming in this morning from Nietzsche to talk a little bit about that, because we seem to have, to a large extent, gotten so busy with the currency of what's going on today here and worldwide, regionally, that we're not looking back sufficiently to recognize these great heroes that we had in our past.
Historically, modernization has erased history.
To a large extent, indeed.
To develop its own show.
Yeah, its own narrative.
Its own narrative.
Indeed.
And we suffer the same.
Yeah.
And it's to our detriment that we have that situation. But when we think about it, that erasure is a part of a colonial program. That's not us.
Yeah.
If we were to become self-determined, I believe we would do something different. I say that because as we are about to celebrate, and even though I'm here to celebrate Marcus Garvey's birthday and to talk about that, I have to tell you, I have been impressed with the information that has been shared over the last few weeks on the WUB, Yaya Marin's program, your program, the Diaspora Summit. And I truly hope that the resolution that comes out of that is a unification process. A unification process that is self-determined by this diaspora unit and diaspora family.
Yes.
That would be great. I stand here waiting for somebody to tell me, Emerson, with this sit down at this spot here, come make way, chook mouth.
Yeah.
You know, I ready for that. I told Yaya on air, the day when you and I can meet and have a conversation about this repair that we must do to heal ourselves. That was a good beginning.
I'm glad you point out that, because that is the true meaning of reparation.
Yes.
It means to repair.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed.
That is what Marcus Garvey was doing. That is what Isaiah Martha's estate was supposed to pay for, to demonstrate our repair process. Never did. But we are still alive, and some of the Isaiah Martha estate property is still here, and we are hoping that we will be able to activate and put that into effect.
Let me ask you the question that I ask you every time you come. Why is it that after all these years, all these conversations on all these governments, do we continue to leave the Liberty Hall in the dastard state of disrepair? When you pass there, you're almost shamed to look at. You don't even want to introduce nobody with a visit Belize and say, oh, this is where black people were standing up with great dignity and respect on this historic. You just want to tell them about it. You don't want to actually look and see how disheveled and all broke up and all people. Oh man,
Brother Nuri, it's a shameful thing, but I'm going to say it like this. Some of the people that wields power and misinform people sometimes create the situation that we have at the Liberty Hall right now. I say that because the president of the National Creole Council has taken residence in that building.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. And
he or she is living there?
It's a he, with him and his daughters. And for me, I would say how I feel about it. For me, I am sure that when we have the wherewithal to go in there and begin the repair process, he will remove himself.
Is he there? You're saying, what are you saying? Yeah,
he is resident there.
Is that right good or bad?
That is not good, but I'll say something else.
But he's the head of the Creole Council. Maybe it's a statement he's making.
I don't know that it's a statement he's making, but he should tell me that, and I would love to hear that from him, from his own mouth. Oh. But what I'm saying, though,
I thought that you know that piece of property there has
it's brother, let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. For me, it's a blessing, though, and I have to tell you why it is a blessing.
Yeah.
It is a blessing because we have made many attempts to raise the awareness of the need for the serious financial contributions that would do the repair.
Who owns it? I understand
the UNIA owns it.
In the United States owns it.
No.
Who owns it?
The UNIA body, the parent body in out of Cleveland, is the owners of that property.
So it's a foreign-owned thing?
No. It's not a foreign-owned thing. The UNIA owns it, but it's in through our own UNIA body here in Belize, because they can't carry nothing.
So that's for we fault?
Yes, that's what we fault. But at the moment, as for instance, if I was to approach the government to say, let me get a letter of no objection so that I can do the international fundraising necessary.
But what would
for
stop,
us to do
what
that.
would stop Nietzsche from getting that for
Well, we are going to write the letter too, because we've just had a meeting, general meeting 2 weeks ago, and that was one of the subjects that we dealt with.
Can I ask you, because we are short of time, and I'll go back to your event that's coming up again, but you also should take responsibility for that statue by Yabra for the great benefactor of the UNIA, that is Isaiah Marta. Anybody who passes that, and I do respect to Brother David and all of those who were part of getting that there, that is an ugly, ugly statue, especially when you have pictures of Isaiah Marta so dignified. Why couldn't that have been given over to Okeke, who did Mr. Golson, did Mr. Price, did several others with very close renditions to what they actually look like? Why would we put up a statue like that? I understand it was given to some Mexican sculptor who had no knowledge of our history, didn't look at no real picture of Mr. Why is that still there? I'm not suggesting maybe that we go one middle of the night and tear it down or nothing like that. I'm not saying that, but shouldn't that be replaced?
It should be replaced. And
imagine the amount of hundreds and thousands of tourists that come here and have to look at that picture or look at that statue, and we are trying to explain that this is one of our great benefactors.
That is actually one of the conversations I'm having with members of the Isaiah Marta family right now.
Okay.
So it's a good broach. You open the conversation for me to be able to share this with the Belize public. I have been meeting with the Isaiah Marta family now for the past 2 years. We actually had them in Belize for the emancipation ceremony last year.
Okay.
And we've had several conversations to discuss the Isaiah Marta statue and to create a proper, respectful replica.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense. So that is in the works. Again, if we, along with the government support, are given the space to raise the funds to repair the Liberty Hall, we will be addressing the statue, the Liberty Hall, and some other programs.
Okay.
Because the programs are even, the programs that used to be run in the Liberty Hall is a critical part of developing the stewardship for community leadership, which we have none of at this current time.
There's also another thing that comes to mind, and that is right there at the corner of South Street and Albert Street, and some Ubafu, thing. It's overgrown. Like nobody not to pay attention to that, but it's got all kind of signs that, well, this one Yibo tongue. Man, you mean somebody could go in there and cut the grass at least to keep that looking? Or it was supposedly a place for vegetables and this, and there's nothing going on there.
Brother Nuri, that is the kind of, I say sleight of hand that happens to us as a people. The Isaiah Mata statue. The McFadden family gave up that property and thought it could be a social contribution to our community, the Iboton community. The stories that we don't tell about our ancestors, the fact that most people don't even attach Iboton and Yabra to a historical anti-colonial past. The 1888 Simon Lab
another hero right
march.
there. Yeah.
They did not march Albert Street and North Side. They marched Yabra and Iboton for a day with these
Led
placards.
by Simon Lamb.
Led by Simon Lamb. We don't have these stories to encourage us. I have cold
But
seed.
whose responsibility? I mean, I myself to catch cold seed. Who is responsible? And that's the head of the spear. That is the point that we should be looking at.
We are
What is the
responsible, Brian
leadership?
Nuri.
Yeah.
I say we are responsible, and I'll tell you why.
I don't want self-flagellation here. What I'm trying to say
No,
is
we meaning me, you and I.
Yeah,
I mean the population in general,
well, yes.
but the population is not
But
being
we need
prepared.
leadership. We need leadership.
True.
We need leadership because here we're talking about the disrepair of Liberty Hall, a statue that none of us can be proud of, a piece of property that was dedicated for showing something about Igbo town, and you know, what would
Brother Nuri,
what would you do?
Brother Nuri,
we need heroes. You know that more than anybody else because you're a revolutionary. You've been in the field for decades. We need heroes, but we don't need heroes, plastic heroes, which is what the media nowadays, international media, is giving us. They're even making a big noise about the Odyssey. The Odyssey, which is a fictional poem, and everybody's making big noise as though that's reality. That's not reality, that's a fiction. But we seem to now be moving our people into quarreling and disagreeing about something that is not, that was the figment of that imagination of that poem, and not dealing with the reality of where they front away. I mean, you could trace Isaiah Mata. Sister Corinth Louis Mata is one of the grandchildren that comes from Isaiah. We got real people.
We have real people and real stories, but we don't tell the stories of the real people and the stories of the work that these real people do. We are tell.
Hence, we got young people out there who don't have no connection with this valuable past. Man, Cleopatra White and Nurse C, in the midst of the 1931 hurricane when we were suffering, they women them to feed people. They became so popular that according to the history, the governor at that time started to subsidize what they were doing because the actual colonial government was not as effective as what Cleopatra White and Nurse C were doing. And as my understanding is that it became Wali stipend thing that the colonial government was doing, which became a Tuesday thing where everybody may go by social on Church Street there to collect their $2, which comes from what Nurse C was establishing and where the colonial government joined there to give their support. We still give people nearly pantry and thing, instead of getting involved in making them more productive, making them more self-sufficient, you know, more resilient to the struggles that we have. So I mean that we can't connect the past to
at the 1922 International Convention of the UNIA, Marcus Garvey speaks highly of Isaiah Mata because of his contribution.
Yes.
He also receives a message at that time from Isaiah to look to the land, look to the agriculture, look to the production that he himself, Isaiah, was involved in.
Yes, coconut
as
king.
a model
Yeah.
for the African redemption exercise globally. Because he said, a people that can't feed themselves will suffer the consequences. And we can see that today. The other thing that we can see today that is exceptional and is being mentioned in the light of the Marcus Garvey's legacy is the growth and production of Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. We are hearing people write about the African Redemption Program in the light of Burkina Faso right now. So if we can understand and connect the diaspora family and connect all of these dots, look at these stories, look at the examples and the models, come right back to where we see Isaiah Mededo. He was self-made, independent, and never take too much crap from nobody.
Right. He never got in an old pantry. So let me say this to you then, that, and we must end this now because we have another guest coming. A tremendous amount of weight is rest on your shoulder because you have knowledge. And all those who say they identify with that vision, it's a tremendous pressure that is on us. Even UBAD, that promoted itself as freedom, justice, and equality, it has to have a reflection of that in today's time. That's why the work of Sister Yaya is so important. The work of XTV, Creme Radio, is so important because they are extensions of that vision. Too much of our history is it just happened, I done. Where do we see the extension of it? In other words, if Liberty Hall was an example of we are a liberated people, how could we today have it in disrepair? Well, you understand what I'm not throwing this only at you. I'm asking a question about the continuity that is important so that our young people don't have to go searching for their heroes. Their heroes are there.
Let me answer that. The Europeans have Google and Facebook and all of these different things. Marcus Garvey did not have the Negro world. If he did not have the Negro world to deliver his message on a constant and daily basis, he would not have been able to acquire the membership that he did.
And if he didn't have that, we would not have had Mr. Humes, right, standing up and writing the national anthem, the words of the national anthem.
Oh, Samuel Haynes.
Haynes, I said Humes. It's because of the Negro world getting into Belize and people reading about that after World War I and seeing that, guess what, this is not just us here, but this is all over the place.
Brother Nuri, so hit the nail on the head.
What happened to the vision? The point I'm saying, I'm indicting us.
Yes.
Because we talk a lot. And talk can be magic sometimes because it could send your head all kind of direction and you still not do nothing but what you're to talk about. So we have to keep putting ourselves on a pressure. I'm 78 years old. You're probably close.
You got me by 5.
All right. So the point I'm saying to you is that we are going down. And we need to make sure that those who are coming up that we are handing this baton to is going to review these things and say, you know something? We need to pick this up. And we can't just run up into the future. AI is almost replacing us now. I saw a video yesterday where some people say AI is the new God. Why? Because you ask God questions and hope God will answer you. AI answers all the questions. And so in this world where we're getting further and further away from the importance of some level of spirituality, most people are now cognitively engaged, and AI love you at that level. You know why you have no spiritual feeling? Because he's not a human. But if you think that knowledge and the amount of money, the amount of information that I'm getting from this AI is what is going to run the world, then to hell with God. Where we need him from?
I want
you understand what
I got
and these young people, if you can't attach them to something real, they will forget.
Well, I want to share this with you at the same time.
Make it your last point, though. Because
Isaiah Mata was more than just this person. Isaiah Mata was an institution. a revolutionary institution, because when he realized the need for information that was relevant to the ideas that he was subscribed to, he actually paid for a printing press. Mr. Kane, the Kane family.
That's right.
Run that printing press.
That's right. See that? We don't know about Mr. Ernest Kane, boy. Next big man that's in our history. That
you understand?
But listen, I'm sorry.
But I know you have to give me a moment.
Yeah, we need to come with a whole hour. I've got this guest here and they're knocking on me. So please make your last point by talking about what is
happening on the 16th. So on the 16th, to the general public, we are going to have Marcus Garvey's speeches played quite loudly. So even if you're not come out, you are hear it in your house.
All right.
For at least
the surrounding area.
Yeah, the surrounding area. Also, we're going to break bread with the community, share food with people who come in, and they'll be able to eat with us. We have some artists, they demonstrate their arts and stuff like that. But more than that, I am hoping that people will come out and ask us questions and sign and sign our membership forms that will be present on that day, because we are creating a new drive to improve the numbers that we have.
All right, very good. We thank Brother Emerson Gill for coming in. He normally comes in around this time, and he's been in the field for a very, very long time. That's why I put the pressure on him that I do, because he knows and he's been there. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
We've got the wow youth. So do you think we got a deal?
No one should be up at this time. If you're still up, it's not you, it's your mattress. Because the right mattress changes everything. Sherwood Bedding Luxury Resort Pillow Top Mattress. Sleep better, wake better. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Now, for 2026, UBAD Educational Foundation have 4 community actions. 4. The first action will be July 31st from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Friday night at UEF Base, the Library of African and Indigenous Studies at 3304 Amandala Drive. Brother Akamotota, revolutionary from Trinidad and Tobago, also the co-host of Sunday Review, the only news review talk show in Belize, executive produced by XTV, simulcasted on Creme Radio, that we featured guest. And so they could come out and meet with Brother Akko, reason, link up as community members, as remember, reflect, and link up with one another about our African ancestresses and ancestors and what then do to make we still Korea in a 2026. Remember August 1st, African Emancipation Jubilee and African Reparations Awareness Day. Community partners, of course, Zinc Fence, XTV, Creme Radio, Amandala, Belize City Council, the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, ISCR, the National Institute of Culture and History, NICH, Vegan Bites, Kim Grab and Go. Individual people who contributed to ensure that UEF have the finance and the community support for be able to host these community actions every August 1st.
Have a vision? We've got what you need. From idea to install, Brothers Habet. All your building needs under one roof.
This is the general. They just coming again. Yeah, yeah. They just one. They just yo. Hey, take it low, 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 take it low. Then you wine right there. Right there, you do it fine right there. You blow my mind right there. Take it low, 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 take it low. Hey, babina hanuma, babina hanuma, wabina punta ah. Hey, babina hanuma, babina hanuma, wabina punta ah. Babina hanuma, wabina punta ah. Eh, babina hanuma, wabina punta ah.
It all seems cool. Hanging on the street, no school to keep you back, no 8-to-5 job to hold you down, no responsibilities, running things in your neighborhood. Guns, drugs, fame, Even the media calls your name like you're a big deal. Until you're lying on the street, dead. Your mother crying. Kids left without a father. Cause make no mistake, that's where you'll end up. Today, tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now. In Belize, when you choose to join a gang, there are only two things in your future. A hole in Lord Ridge or a cell at Kobe. Gang life is no life. Choose to live free and live right. A message from the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Violence Prevention and Enforcement Unit.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing star 100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Okay, welcome back again. We have a conversation now with the director of the Institute for Social and Cultural Research at NICH, Mr. Rolando Cocom. We also have Mr. Giovanni Panello. He is the Public History Officer. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning to all the audiences tuning in.
Indeed. August 1st is Emancipation Day. That's a couple of days from now. This is a day in which Belize joins the Caribbean in remembering the legal ending of African enslavement. But emancipation was not simply a declaration made by Britain. It was the result of centuries of African resistance and survival and struggle. The question still remains, what did emancipation really change? We asked Mr. Kokom and Mr. Pinello to come here to discuss many elements of that very important period, particularly because many of our people, especially black people in this country, don't know much about that history. And it is important that it be taught not only in school, but that it becomes a popular education process so that many of us who are still denying that there is any importance in discussing slavery in Belize can come to the sense of understanding that you can't cut off a very important period of what made you who you are today. So these men are very well knowledgeable, they've done the research, they speak from facts and not from feeling, and that's why we've asked them to come today. Welcome to you both. Welcome to you both. Let me start with you, Mr. Kokom, and you could say exactly what happened on August the 1st, Emancipation Day, and the discrepancy of the 1834 versus 1838 in Belize's history.
Right. Thank you again, Brother Nuri, for having us on the show. I think it's important that we do these type of engagements, and before we tackle what happened between 1834 and 1838, it may be good for the viewers, especially those who are not familiar with this history, to recognize that African Emancipation Day is an important opportunity where we get to reflect on this history, where we can also, more importantly, I think, give communities, give Africans and African descendants of Belize the opportunity to speak about this history, to ask questions, and that we at the Institute for Social and Cultural Research view ourselves as just that, an institute for social and cultural research. We do not claim to know everything about this history, and more importantly, we believe that the communities are the best person that we would want to see empowered to take on this narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I think second to that, it's important to recognize that our understanding of enslavement in Belize has to also start with an understanding of Mother Africa. Africa as a continent rich in diverse cultures, rich in diverse landscape, rich in many other ways. That history, unfortunately, was distorted because of the enslavement trade, which the United Nations has recently passed as one of the gravest crimes against humanity. That was earlier this year in March, end of March.
Yes.
Belize voted in favor of that resolution. But that tragic and that grave crime has had enduring legacies for Belize and for across the world. We believe that it has to start with acknowledgement of Africa. Again, Africa as a birthplace of humanity and Africa as a cradle of civilization. With the transatlantic enslavement trade starting from the 1500s and specifically now to Belize.
The difference between 1834 and 1838. But we often generalize about slaves. We use the term, and many Belizean of African descent even today do not like that reference to slavery. In fact, many years ago used to deny that we were even slaves in Belize. And we have some historians that have contributed to that by giving the impression that, there was a love affair between the enslavers and the enslaved in Belize, that we were sort of shoulder to shoulder, no make you come with an American black thing, but African thing, left that alone, we are Baymen, and we are proud to be Baymen. So help us to understand that when we talk about slaves, they were not people running around in the jungle of Africa with bone, with nose and grass skirt and Tarzan, the chase way. No. there's a great history, and you just pointed out the cradle of civilization, the roots, the great cities of Timbuktu and all these great empires that existed long before Europeans, when Europeans were still in caves. And these are history. This is not insulting. This is history, that they were Africans that had civilization long before. So how is it then, Mr. Kokon, that we end up with this idea that we never got no culture, we never got no name, we never got no language, we never got no skill. All we were was just people that, you know, you could turn into chattel. Right. Because in reality, that's somehow what we think. We think that Europeans civilized us. We didn't think we had any civilization. We think that if they're never for the white man, we wouldn't be civilized people. So help us to unpack that so that we could have a better appreciation of what happened in the past.
I think you've already started to unpack that for us, and I think it's important to recognize Krem, to recognize Mandela, to recognize Ivan Exide in this process of unpacking and undoing all of these harms, these prejudice, these racist ideology that was built into how Belize was colonized. And when he, in the 1960s, remarked that Creole, the black people, and he even have a special line that I always refer to, where he says that, you know, if you read this far, that means you're already thinking black in his writings, you know, because what he was doing was undoing racism, and that made people uncomfortable in our reassessment of Creole people, of Garifuna people as Africans and African descendants. That was a powerful moment, albeit, you know, one could argue, well, that work has to continue. You know, it's still not as widespread, but in many cultural organizations today, I think there is a greater acknowledgement of being African and a willingness to approach Africa differently than a couple decades ago. And then you have in the 90s, you know, the National Creole Council asking, you know, and Julie Laverne, I want to know who say Creole not got no culture. Again, that tells you something about our society, where in an independent Belize, you have a group questioning, like, why do you say that we don't have a culture? That is all part of this colonization process that I think Belize has to confront. We have to confront we still deal with it. We still deal with it. And it's across the world. African descendants overall, and that's why we are now in the second decade of recognizing African descendants and the important value that they've, the legacy that has had in the Americas and in the world.
Mr. Giovanni, Mr. Pinello, tell me about some of the facts of the history of these enslaved African, these Creole people in Belize, that are normally not taught in schools, and perhaps the reason why we are still mental slaves, as Bob Marley would say. While the chains are off our arms and our legs, when you observe our behavior, you can see that the impact of that slave period, which was over 300 years of chattel slavery, that we are still not free.
Thank you, Brother Nuri. And indeed, as you have opened the discussion along with Mr. Kokon, my thoughts go immediately to that quotation by Milan Kundera. And I don't recall the quotation in its, you know, exact words, but to paraphrase it, to destroy a people, to erase their culture, you diminish their memory, you burn their books, you throw away their achievements. And that is part of what the colonial system did to our people. Even in terms of the schooling that we have gone through, it begs the question, why is it that a people who are supposed to be promoting humanity, promoting the dignity of the human being, also have acquiesced to a role that downplays another human being. And in this case, we're talking about any and every other person who is not white, quote unquote. We have nothing against, and personally have nothing against white people as such, but that is the nomenclature we have in the discussions, no?
Yes, of course.
Because, but the thing is that...
We don't got no problem against individuals.
No, not at all.
We're not bigots, but we got something with that system, because that system has a history, and that's a history of blood, torture, oppression, and it continues even up to today.
Right, that systematized control. And so we see that going back to the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th centuries, our African ancestors are brought into this land. Brought into this land to engage in laboral activities that will benefit a few. And so the commemoration of Emancipation Day is critical. How did we get there? You were asking earlier the difference between 1834 and 1838.
Yes.
1834, yeah, the British Parliament acknowledges that, guess what? There has to come a point where human dignity, where the human being has to be given their place. And this did not come easy, because as we can see from Belize, the amount of personal and collective agency that people of Africans in particular, under this system of bondage had, their resistance, their resiliency, would create that scenario that not only in Belize but throughout the Caribbean, that would impel the British Parliament to eventually agree, albeit for other reasons, beyond the humanitarian, beyond the moral, the economic reasons involved too, to grant freedom, quote unquote, and but they institute what is known as
big quote.
Yes, they institute this apprenticeship system. So here are people whose knowledge has been passed on, that high level of civilization that Rolando was just speaking about, passed on through generations, and all of a sudden you're told, guess what? You need to learn. You need to relearn before you become free. So in 1834, that apprenticeship system comes in. For some it would have been 4 years, for others it would have been 6. The long and short of it is that it ended at 4 years, and so in 1838 this legal freedom is granted to our peoples. But beyond that legal freedom, their hands were tied yet.
Yes, indeed. And I want to ask Mr. Kokom, and I've got a short time to deal with both of you, two powerhouse here. I mean, maybe if it was just one, but you bring me with some heavy weights on both sides. But I want to go back to continuing on that same discussion that he's just talked about in terms of so-called, in quotes, freedom. Because tell us about the fact that the reparation, the repair that was acknowledged, that was due, but it was acknowledged to be due to the slave owners. So the white man was compensated, meaning money was given to him based on the value of his enslaved person. So if he had 10 enslaved person and they say each of them worth $100, then he was given $1,000 to compensate. Of course, we know there was far more than that, but I'm simplifying it. Which means that with the so-called freedom of 1838 and the so-called freedom that was given to the enslaved, what kind of freedom was it when after that period of time we saw a system of oppression, control, and really new slavery was developed to replace the old slavery? So please tell me, what does the records say? Did we just sit back and accept it, or did we try to escape? Did we rebel? Were there any stoppage of work? Did we have any kind of resistance, as you highlighted about what happened in Gales Point? What did we just take it?
Right. No, I mean, the history shows that it was a important moment, I think, for African ancestors and African descendants at that time to have entered into a new phase where they can no longer have to respond and say either the property of Mr. Mana or my master. That was an important juncture. I don't want to dismiss that. Although, as you all have said, their hands were tied. The immediate thing the state did was to make it very difficult for them to obtain property and have land to become peasants, to further expand these skills that they already had in plantation works, and to become laborers. That was the point, to enter a capitalist system that we now live in. Beyond 1838, into the 1900s, and just the other day, we had UEF President Sister Yaya giving us a powerful reminder of that moment of resistance, 1919 riots, as another example that that's probably the biggest riots in our history that we've seen.
Indeed.
And so that history also has to be told. But to the word of repair as well, there's something that we have been working very closely with UEF on, which is the acknowledgement and the re-education of the first Emancipation Day, the first big Emancipation Day observation in 1888, led by Simon Lamb, supported by various working class men and women who went to Government House, the same grounds that we will have a state ceremony on Saturday, and made a demand that they should have a center, a people's hall, where they can go to repair, and that's the word that they used. And repair at the time meant to gather and to reason. And for us today, repair, of course, is now we have to think about reparations, which is obviously due, because how can you enslave a population, extract so much of their wealth, their labor, for, in the case of Belize, more than 100 years, and say now you have freedom, now you should celebrate your emancipation, but they were never given the opportunity to do so in a way that was ethical, that was moral. And so I think that is the ongoing struggle that we have, and I know we have limited time, Brother Nuri, but I want to say that there are many events happening this weekend. I think the UEF initiatives are going to be an important space for the learning and relearning of what African enslavement and emancipation means for Belize, as well as the various activities being held at the Igbo Town Festival. But I know we have limited time. If you have a specific thing that we need to discuss more,
I want to bring up all of that. We're going to end with the actual day and time and what will happen in that time. But what I'm trying to do in this limited time, because we don't discuss it sufficiently, and people don't learn from a one-shot deal. They learn by the constant repetition over a long period of time of information. So what you're saying here, as valuable as it is, it needs to be amped up several times over and over. One of the things, Mr. Ponella, I'd like you to comment on is how we have this kind of activity that Ronaldo is talking about with Simon Lamb, etc. How could we pass through that very conscious raising period and then go into a slump with our local leaders who are not even acknowledging all that went on? All during the freedom movement or the nationalist movement, the George Price-led movement, we heard nothing about slavery. We heard nothing about Simon Lamb. We gave no acknowledgement to the importance of reparation. We never talked those things. You spoke about UBAD. Yes, indeed, UBAD surfaced it and kept it going in the 60s. But that was a radical, outside of the box thinking that the government itself did not acknowledge and thought that we were troublemakers. So we wanted to bring them kind of slavery business and then kind of thing there up. So that when you see it now becoming a CARICOM drive, which really is pulling all these radical movements, because they were in Trinidad, they were in Grenada, they were in Jamaica, they were in Belize. It's really a reflection of that same energy that was going on in the 60s that is now congealed and put together in this CARICOM 10-point statement, because that's what we were talking about. We just didn't put it in no 10-point. We just made a... Anyway, the point I'm asking really is what happened? How could we have been so into Simon Lamb? Because there was a regular march, I understand. There was a, you know, there was a centenary march regular, and then all of a sudden we dropped into this abyss of we didn't tell we're picking about that, we didn't want to acknowledge it. What happened? As an educator, you would know.
Yeah, again, let me quote from George Orwell. As British as he may have been, no? The same author of Animal Farm.
Yes.
But he wrote 1984.
He did.
And he says, he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. So, again, bear in mind that coming back to 1888, Simon Lamb's movement, etc., coincides also with 50 years of Queen Victoria coming to the throne. Now, who are those in authority in this region, in what is now Belize? And who are they going to celebrate? So the commemoration, notice I'm using two words, celebration and commemoration. The celebration of the Jubilee of Queen Victoria was highly supported by the colonial authorities and suppressed the commemoration, the reflection of what emancipation should have meant for our people. That would turn into the centenary celebration a few years later. And centenary, which paid more homage to the Baymen, suppressed this history that people like Simon Lamb, that people who were in the Garveyite movement, that people who realized that it is by knowing our story, by sharing and transmitting our stories, that we would have, it could help us to rise to that level of human dignity, to that self and collective identity as an African people, and extended to the Maya people, extended to the general populace of Belize at the time, whether Creole or East Indian or whatever. So that type of colonial control is what suppressed this knowledge and this appreciation of our story, of our people, of understanding that together we can achieve a lot. And so as we fast forward from the nationalist movement towards independence, we continue to see that. And let's add to it, because you mentioned it earlier, within our own midst, there were people who were apprehensive, who, you use the word radical. But what is radical? Radical to whom? These are terminologies that were used in a negative way.
Clearly.
While the movements, while the ideologies, while what our people were aiming for was the common good, but it was not in the interest of those in control.
All right, let's stop there. We'll take our next break and then we'll come back with a very important conversation with Mr. Pinello and the director of the Institute of Social and Cultural History, Mr. Rolando Cocon. We'll be back.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
We make it a kind donation to 14 rural communities from across Belize. They'll be receiving maintenance equipment, riding mowers, weed eaters. This will help these village councils and communities to be able to maintain their green spaces, the community grounds within their area or within their respective communities. And these equipment is to be used for the maintenance of parks, playgrounds, football fields, schools, community centers, cemeteries, all the community spaces within the respective rural communities. Simultaneously, we're donating tables and chairs to village councils as well, for them to be able to have access to proper furnitures for whenever they hold community meetings or activities within their communities.
Today we received 30 chairs, and these are not just chairs. They are seats at the table for our elderly, our clergy members, our children, for community meetings, our mobile clinic. At this moment, we don't have any chairs in the village for the community center, so whenever we have community meetings, we use a bleacher which is in direct sunlight. So these chairs will definitely help for our upcoming village council meetings and different events that the council have planned for the village.
We're receiving a reading more, which is really we need it. It's a equipment that we will be using a lot, because the football field, example, we have a large area that we need to clean, the football field, the cemetery, and right now that will be a good equipment for us.
This donation really means a lot to us, because every time we have function, we have to either rent or borrow, and so this is a great start for us here in Unitedville.
We believe in empowering our people. We believe in supporting you. I ask that, especially for those who are going to get weed eaters and driving mowers, or any other mechanical equipment that you get, that you put in place some program where you can provide regular maintenance to this equipment. This is important because we want to ensure that there is longevity, that this equipment can serve you and other councils that are going to come after you.
And so we would like to thank the Ministry of Rural Development for listening and addressing the needs of our village, for building a stronger, more connected village, one seat and one step at a time.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
This is the general. They just coming again. Yeah. They just won. They just yo. Hey. Take it low, take it low, take it low, take it low, take it low. Then you went right there, take your time right there.
Africa.
In our store,
We've got the paints and the brush and light fixtures.
that's for sure.
We've got steel, cement and tiles galore.
And so much more.
We've got everything in that store. We've got windows and doors just for you.
In our store,
We've got sheetrock, plywood and hardwood too.
that's for sure.
Tools for gardening in the great outdoors.
And so much more.
We've got everything in that store. We've got variety,
Everything,
quality,
everything,
quantity.
everything,
A builder's hardware variety,
everything,
quality,
everything,
quantity.
everything.
A builder's hardware. We've got the sinks and the tubs and cabinets.
In our store,
We've got the nuts and the bolts, so don't forget.
so much more.
We've got service with a smile.
That's for sure.
We've got everything in that store. We've got variety,
Everything,
quality,
everything,
quantity.
everything,
A builder's hardware variety,
everything,
quality,
everything,
quantity.
everything.
A builder's hardware. For builders who build with a passion and skill, go to Builders Hardware.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I help you out right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
The next community action, 1B, Saturday, August 1st, 2026, which is a public and bank holiday that the state recognized in 2021. So from 6 to 7:30, we're there in front of Golden Bay on Marine Parade with the ask you wear white if you could. The important thing that is that on a show, we have libation, drumming, flower petal release as we reflect, go over the stories of our African ancestors and ancestors before they may kidnapped, human trafficked, dishonored by being called enslaved people, meaning that they were property. They were always human beings, and then know that they're always human beings. That's why UAF insists that we don't refer to our African foreparents as slaves instead of enslaved, and call the people who enslaved them the enslavers that they were. So August 1st, 6 o'clock to 7:30, Marine Parade in front of Golden Bay. Community partners, of course, Zinc Fence, XTV, Creme Radio, Amandala, Belize City Council, the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, ISCR, the National Institute of Culture and History, NICH, Vegan Bites, Kim Grab and Go. Individual people who contributed to ensure that UEF have the finance and the community support for be able to host these community actions every August 1st.
All right, interesting conversation from Mr. Giovanni Pinello and Mr. Rolando Cocom, the head of the Institute of Culture and...
For Social and Cultural Research.
Social and Cultural Research. We appreciate their presence here. It's obvious that we will have to bring them back to be more conversation with us. But we'll give them some final words. I'll start with you, Mr. Pinello, that you could share with us what will be happening over the next couple of days, primarily on the 1st of August, which is Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah. So on Saturday, we will be observing the 5th, for the 5th year, the Emancipation Day in Belize, something that our sister Caribbean countries had taken on back in the 1980s. I believe it was Trinidad first, and later on Jamaica, Barbados, and the others. And now Belize has joined our sister Caribbean countries in the observation of Emancipation Day, a very, very important event in our history, a turning point in the lives of so many persons who were engaged in a state of bondage, and later on played a critical role in the creation of what is now the nation state of Belize. Likewise, I want to go back a little to a document, not too far back, but a call for everybody in Belize to commemorate the event. If we look at the 1861 census, that census is very instructive because it highlights the genealogical, or at least the immediate parental background of our peoples, whether they were, for example, it speaks about Afro-English, which today we would call Creole, African Maya, African Indian, African Spanish, Afro-Carib, as they called it in this, but we know it's Garifuna. So we see that there was a miscegenation of our people. And so I hope the day would come when all of us could take a DNA test and see what biological heritage we have.
Indeed.
But it's a call for everybody across the country to commemorate the day and to celebrate in the sense of acknowledging the identity, the cultural contributions, the many, many ways that people of African heritage have made this nation a distinct one in this region. And so for us at ISCR, it's always a pleasure to share. I know we will be sharing in our booth out there. We have several items. There are several tidbits of information, trivia that you can learn more, because part of our work is to help to educate ourselves. And so the invitation is there for everyone to join us.
Clearly. In giving us the last word, Mr. Kokon, let us do a reality check and realize that Belize has become a very racialized society, meaning that there are people who will tell you that there are individuals with very strong racialized, racist kind of behavior. And I could go on and tell you about what people are saying. But please, in your closing comment, say to our mestizo brothers and sisters, to our, Maya brothers and sisters, to our non-African, let's make it broader, our non-African descendant Belizeans, why should they be interested in Emancipation Day? Why they should not say, oh, that black people holiday, me no got nothing to do with that, I enjoy myself up the Orange Walk or Corozal, that one Belizean thing down there. Why should they not exclude themselves from the celebration of such an important event?
Right. No, we absolutely have a long struggle ahead of us, Brother Nuri, on that cause, on this pursuit of understanding ourselves individually and collectively across our cultural groups. I think is an important struggle, education struggle that we at ISCR are excited to pursue, but also very humbled because we know it's a heavy work to carry out, and you won't see the fruits immediately. And just as we are now seeing some fruits from again, the WUB movement, we're seeing more and more fruits, and we now have a history program at the University of Belize. The National Institute of Culture and History now exists only for about 25 years now, and so there's a lot to see some progress, but there's a lot of setbacks, as you've said. And I think for our brothers and sisters across this country, Emancipation Day, African Emancipation Day, is an important part of us unraveling how colonialism did us wrong how it harmed us, and how we must now correct it. We are talking specifically today about African enslavement and emancipation. And on another show, we can talk about the enslavement of Maya persons that were also living in this land, that were kidnapped and trafficked to the Caribbean. That's another history that also has to be untold, or to be told. I think the work going forward remains as well for Maya Mestizo communities of the North. They have a lot of history that needs to be told about how the colonial power sought to manipulate and exploit them, remove them from their lands. That's also a history that I think African descendants, Creole people, Garifuna people are also not knowledgeable about. And so this is the opportunity, and we'll have more opportunities like these. I think the administration has made 2 good steps in saying that we now have we have Emancipation Day, which I joined the call with you. We have to say it's African Emancipation Day, and I'd also, recognize Indigenous Resistance Day as another opportunity where we can have more of these discussions. It creates a different feeling in the public sphere on your shows and many others. And I want to pay respect to the partners that have been doing this work without the state, and now in partnership with the state. I think we have to advance together. That is a general approach. The feeling that I get is that this administration is prepared to tackle decolonization, and we as leaders and as community leaders have a role to play to ensure that that process, that struggle can continue at a pace that is to our satisfaction and have more fruits going forward. But big respect, I think, in my view as well, to community partners first and foremost. And then, of course, I would like to acknowledge the Minister Fonseca, Honorable Fonseca, who will be giving a remark on Saturday, and I want people to tune into that as much as tune into all the other activities that we will have.
Yes, indeed. Big respect to my brother who has gone through triple bypass and is still functional, and God bless you, brother. I mean, he's a really sincere, straight to the point. He's a good man, so he will be out there on Saturday. And and I want to also pay big respect during this period of time to Sister Yaya, because we have been talking about August 1st for a long time. We've been recognizing that the rest of the Caribbean are celebrating Emancipation Day, and we weren't doing it. And it was from the effort of Sister Yaya, and we cannot take that away from her. She's a force of nature, and she was the person who rallied, demonstrated, picketed, and pushed until that day was finally accepted. We also want to acknowledge the fact that our brother Evan X. Hyde was talking about African and Indian history when no one was talking about it. And we want to acknowledge our brother Yasser Musa, who picked up the charge there at SJC, and SJC became the first of the tertiary level institutions and secondary to incorporate that into their curriculum, which begs the question of what has happened to the other high schools that have not moved in that direction. Where's the hiccup? Why are you still reluctant when it is worldwide known? Even the United Nations, as Rolando has said, has acknowledged that the worst crime in human history was the chattel slavery. Why are we still in denial about making sure that our children know this history? Not so that they will hate anybody, but that they will be able to fill that gap in their reasoning as to how did we get here, what are we all about, and what was this all about? And that's important. That's very, very important. So I want to thank you both for coming and sharing with us. By all means, it will not be the last time, because you guys are full of knowledge, man. I want to make sure that you could fill in the gaps that many of us, unfortunately, have suffered. So I want to thank my 2 guests today, Mr. Pinello and Mr. Kokon, and we hope that they will come back again. I won't talk anything about the upcoming committee. I'll wait until that and bring you back to talk specifically on that when that gets actualized. We also want to make sure that we acknowledge that there is a commemoration of the Marcus Garvey effort in Belize likewise, and we thank our brother Emerson Gill for being here in that regard. Downstairs we have Anthony, no, it's not Anthony, it's Larry Guerrero. Upstairs we had Mr. Harlan Wagner, and of course Mr. Clifton Lewis. Belizeans, stand strong and stand firm and do the right thing. For now, we gone!